The story opens up in Baghdad, a desert-surrounded city where Dragon Luo, a Chinese leader, and his team of army agents embark on a mission. They aim to assist workers in an oil factory who are constantly under attack. The factory's director, Professor Cheng, pleads with Luo to rescue her 498 workers and transport them to the Green Zone for safety. Meanwhile, in a nearby village, our hero Chris is approached by his brother Henry, who hands him a bag of money as payment for a previous mission. Chris, skeptical of his brother, counts the money to ensure the amount. Right then, Henry proposes a new money-making mission involving helping a Chinese group kidnap people on a bus. However, Chris, who has never engaged in wrongdoing, declines the offer and walks away. In the same village, there's a man named Owen, responsible for maintaining the only water pump for the villagers. Chris, familiar with Owen, approaches him and discusses the pump's importance. Faced with a water shortage, Chris, caring deeply for his fellow villagers, asks Owen for help and urges him to repair the pump quickly. In response, Owen suggests needing money to buy equipment for the pump's repair. Chris agrees to find the money and support Owen in purchasing the necessary equipment. At the oil factory, Luo and his team plan to rescue the workers by taking them through a dangerous shortcut known as the Highway of Death to reach the Green Zone. They calculate that it will take them 8 hours to reach their destination. Before leaving, Professor Cheng secures all the important information of the factory system on a pen drive. She then keeps the pen drive in a bag and entrusts it to Mei, Luo's estranged daughter. Here we learn that Mei holds resentment toward her father for not being there when her mother passed away. Since then, she hasn't spoken to him. As they evacuate, everyone boards a bus headed for the Green Zone. Unbeknownst to them, a worker marks an X on one of the buses. After a bit of driving, the group approaches the perilous Highway of Death. Mei witnesses the havoc on the side of the highway and becomes fearful, knowing no one has survived this route before. The highway is challenging, filled with wrecked cars from previous accidents. Worried for his daughter, Luo asks Mei to take a seat and put on a seatbelt. Despite Mei's suggestion to stop due to 2 blocked cars, Luo continues driving. Luo also instructs his team to stay vigilant as the bus navigates through obstacles. Luckily, the buses are made of special materials, making them resistant to bullets and bombs. To their bad luck, after they clear the obstacles, despite the clear weather forecast, they encounter a massive sandstorm. Undeterred, Luo keeps driving. Seizing the opportunity during the sandstorm, Chris's team hijacks a bus marked with an X. Here we learn that Chris accepted Henry's mission due to his need for money. When the storm subsides, all the buses come to a stop. Luo checks on them and realizes that one bus, along with the oil factory leader Cheng, is missing. Right then, one of the team members informs Luo that she observed the bus heading in a different direction. Hearing this, to expedite the search for the missing bus, Luo calls for a helicopter. Next, Luo, along with Mei, boards the helicopter and begins their search mission. While flying in the helicopter, Luo notices a truck and realizes that the supposed sandstorm was a ruse created by enemies using a jet engine. Soon after, he locates their missing bus and learns that a group of American goons have kidnapped 5 people, including the oil factory leader. Following this, Luo instructs the remaining buses to proceed to the Green Zone, while he and Mei continue the search for the missing factory workers. After a while, as Chris and his team drive forward, Luo spots them and drops a bomb on them from the helicopter. In the chaos, Chris retaliates by firing at the helicopter, causing it to catch fire and divert the route. Soon, as they reach their destination, Chris confronts his brother and demands the truth about the dangerous mission. To everyone's surprise, Owen shows up and confesses that the entire plan, including the kidnapping of the oil factory leader, was his. Here, it is revealed that Owen's motive is to hack the oil company's systems, gaining control and reaping substantial profits. Professor Cheng had suspected Owen's involvement in the attacks on their factory, prompting the decision to change locations, leading to the kidnapping attempt. Chris then confronts Owen, expressing his refusal to support the plan any longer, and demands his promised payment. Despite Owen's assurance that there is more work for him, Our hero Chris insists on receiving his money within the next 2 hours and leaves. Once Chris leaves, Owen betrays and kills Henry and his men, then dismisses the rest of the team. Back in the village, Chris returns, furious at his brother for withholding the truth and involving him in a dangerous mission. To calm himself, he goes out to play with the children, processing the betrayal and turmoil he's just experienced. After a while, Luo arrives at the village and confronts Chris, acknowledging that he's there to rescue his kidnapped people. Luo believes that Chris is involved in the kidnapping, but however, the latter asserts that he has nothing to do with all this and is just trying to save his villagers. After this encounter, Luo departs and Chris also leaves for an abandoned factory where he called Henry to deliver the money. To his shock, when he enters the factory, Chris discovers his brother's lifeless body. Luo also happens to follow him and arrives at the scene, leading to a fierce altercation between them. The fight oscillates between Chris and Luo, each suspecting the other of causing harm to Henry. However, when a metal bar is about to fall on Henry, Luo intervenes to save him, revealing that he did not kill Chris's brother. During the confrontation, Owen's henchmen attempt to eliminate Chris and Luo. They open fire at them and also plant a bomb in the factory. To their dismay, Chris and Luo combat the threat and the former deploys a bomb, creating a significant explosion that drives the goons away. Sadly, during all this, Chris's car also gets damaged. Recognizing they share a common enemy in Owen, Chris and Luo decide to join forces. Chris then reveals his knowledge of Owen's whereabouts, and the duo leaves. Meanwhile, Owen has captured Professor Chang and some of her associates, and is in the oil factory, attempting to access the system. However, when he tries to turn the system on, it requires a code, and he is denied access. In a sinister turn, Owen kills 2 of the factory workers and threatens Chang to reveal the codes, pointing the gun at her son. Pressured, she discloses that her security code is on a pen drive in her bag, last seen with her assistant. Desperate, Owen decides to trace the location of the bag through Chang's phone, currently with May in Chris's village. The scene then shifts to the village, where Luo receives the reassuring news that the remaining workers have safely arrived at the green zone. Right then, May receives a call on Chang's phone, but no one speaks from the other end. Later, May questions Luo's trust in Chris, and Luo defends him, expressing confidence in Chris's character as someone who works for the greater good of the villagers. Later at night, Chris stumbles upon Luo's diary and notices a picture of May, mistakenly assuming a romantic connection. However, when he inquires about it to Luo, the latter corrects him, revealing that the girl is his daughter, who happens to work in the oil factory. Hearing this, Chris apologizes for the misunderstanding and learns that Luo's mission is driven by the desire to save his daughter. While Chris assures Luo that they will overcome the challenges together, the duo hears the noise of approaching henchmen. These assailants, sent by Owen, aim to retrieve Chang's bag containing a crucial pen drive with a system code. Armed with machine guns, Owen's men take the villagers captive, forcing them into servitude. Prioritizing the safety of the villagers over resistance, Chris reluctantly hands over the bag to the goons, a decision that leaves Luo and his daughter frustrated. Owen's men then leave as soon as they get the bag. Afterward, Chris justifies his choice to Luo and May, emphasizing the need to protect the lives of the entire village rather than a bag. The following morning, Chris seeks more information from Luo's daughter about the bag's contents. In response, May reveals that the bag contained a pen drive capable of hacking the entire oil factory's systems, allowing for the illicit transfer of the city's oil. This revelation uncovers a massive oil smuggling operation orchestrated by Owen. Luo mentions that if successful, it would mark the most significant oil theft to date, posing a considerable threat to the city's resources. Meanwhile, a German ship under the command of its captain, Captain Morgan, communicates with Owen and informs him that they're arriving at the given location soon. Chris and Luo also depart from the village to stop the oil smuggling, but May senses that they might not be able to handle everything alone. Taking matters into her own hands, she also grabs a car and follows them secretly. Next, the henchmen hand over Cheng's bag to Owen, and the latter instructs the factory leader to activate the entire system. With the system now running, Owen then commands Cheng to fill the German ships with oil, a process that will take 24 hours. Right then, Chris and Luo arrive at the oil factory in their truck, engaging in a fierce confrontation with the guards. The duo, displaying remarkable fighting skills, takes down Owen's men, with Owen observing it from a distance. Sensing that their mission is accomplished, Owen breaks the pen drive and orders his men to leave promptly. He believes that without the pen drive, the system can't be shut down, and the German ships will soon be filled with oil. Inside the factory, while fighting with Owen's men, he notices Owen making an escape. Our hero then pursues Owen on foot and encounters May on the way, who joins the chase in her car. Chris also gets in her car, and together they follow Owen. Meanwhile, Luo is still fighting and defeating each one of the henchmen with his extraordinary speed and skills. On the pursuit, Chris and May follow Owen, with the latter executing a daring jump with his car. Without thinking twice, May also attempts a similar jump, but ends up crashing the car badly. Chris, frustrated by May's driving, expresses his anger to her. To their good luck, Luo arrives there with a truck, and they continue chasing Owen. Next, Chris shares a shortcut with Luo to reach Owen, and they utilize the jet engine attached to the truck to increase their speed. Due to high speed, their truck collides with an oil-carrying trailer, resulting in powerful explosions. Owen's car is also thrown away due to the explosion, and he sustains some injuries. However, after spotting Chris, Owen swiftly enters his car and speeds away. Following this, Luo calls Chris back to the truck, where the latter hangs onto the vehicle, holding the broken oil supply to the jet engine. They approach Owen's car at rocket launcher speed, causing their truck to lose control. Before reaching a dead end, Luo attaches a rope to Owen's car, lowering their truck into a trench while hanging on the rope. Amused, Owen laughs at them, but the weight causes both vehicles to fall into the trench. Luo releases the rope, and he and his daughter land on a stone, surviving the fall. They assume that Chris and Owen are dead. At this moment, May discovers Luo's diary, revealing a picture of her and her mom. In response, Luo expresses his deep love for both of them, clarifying that he never wanted to separate from them. Touched by his words, May forgives her father and hugs Luo. Meanwhile, Chris, who is still alive, grabs Luo's leg from below, and the father-daughter duo pulls him up. All three survivors now ponder their exit strategy. In the end credits, we learn that the trio has been rescued, having captured the German ship Owen used to sell the stolen oil. Back in Chris's village, water starts flowing, a collaborative effort by Chris and Luo. Right then, Luo's team approaches him, inquiring about the next mission. The movie ends with Luo turning towards Chris, asking him to join them for the mission, and the latter accepting it with a smile.